All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Good morning, folks. The Detroit Lions earlier today traded for defensive edge rusher Za'Darius Smith, sending a 2025 fifth-round pick and a 2026 sixth-round pick to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for Za'Darius Smith and also a 2026 seventh-round draft pick. Folks, 32 years old. This is a three-time Pro Bowler. His last Pro Bowl was in 2022 with the Minnesota Vikings. Right before that, he played for my Green Bay Packers for a couple of seasons. I remember when we got Z at first, it was a big deal. He was a baller, man. He was putting up like 12 and a half sacks, 13 and a half sacks in his time with Green Bay. That was, 3 or 4 years ago. But yeah, 2 years ago, 2022, he was a Pro Bowler with the Minnesota Vikings. He was second on the Browns with 5 sacks in 9 games so far this season, and he also entered Sunday 22nd in pressures with 27 on the season and 14th in sacks with 5 in the entire NFL. So this is exactly how I wanted to wake up this morning. I saw the reports yesterday. We made even a Za'Darius Smith Detroit Lions video on this channel a couple of days ago. This is the type of move that I was exactly looking to have. DPJ got traded to the Detroit Lions at this time last season, and it was a cool move at the time, but he ended up not really playing for the Detroit Lions or not being a big part of that season last year. This one, completely different. Za'Darius Smith, because of the loss of Aiden Hutchinson, is going to be playing and starting from day one, and hopefully it's this upcoming Sunday against the Houston Texans. Folks, I am running out of breath. This is exactly how I wanted to wake up. I hope you guys did too. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content over on this channel. We post a ton of Lions videos too, multiple a week. Sorry, I'm really running out of breath here. If you could try and get this video to 500 likes, folks, that would mean the absolute world to me. Also, I will link my Detroit Lions channel down below in the comments section. So the big news, or the big thing with this Lions team is obviously Aiden Hutchinson got injured a couple of weeks ago against the Dallas Cowboys. He led Detroit with 7.5 sacks in the 5 games he played. No other Lion, however, has more than 2.5 sacks. And the team has just 1 sack total in its last 2 games. Now, their defense, you're ranked top 5. Or I think you're the 4th ranked defense right now. You're the 5th ranked offense. You're also 7-1, and even though Kansas City, of course, won another football game in overtime last night, Detroit, to me, is by far the best team in the NFL. I mean, they really are, and you just took down my Green Bay Packers 24-14 in the slippery, sloppy rain. This defense, led by guys like Brian Branch, Jack Campbell's having a phenomenal season. Kirby Joseph just had his, 6th interception. Carlton Davis has been a phenomenal trade acquisition from this past offseason. It's a team that's ready to win the Super Bowl. And you were ready to win the Super Bowl last season, except, maybe not quite. Right? Not quite. But now you won the NFC North last year. You won 12 freaking football games. You won a couple of playoff games, and you lost the second half. I'm sorry, Lions fans. It's early to think about heartbreak. The score was literally like 24-7 at halftime, heading into that third quarter against San Francisco in the conference championship. And I'm not saying, just the simple addition of Za'Darius Smith and pretend Aiden Hutchinson was out there and the Detroit Lions are, winning that game. The Detroit Lions' issue last season was the secondary. It had nothing to do with pressure, had nothing to do with sacks. Maybe they were worried about outside of help from Aiden Hutchinson, but Aiden was he was one of the best edge rushers, one of the best defensive players in the NFL last year. What they needed was defensive back help. They needed secondary help. And that's why you traded for Carlton Davis. That's why you drafted Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. That's why you still have Kirby Joseph, Melifonwu, Brian Branch in his sophomore campaign. This team is littered with talent. And like we're seeing right now, whether it's against the Minnesota Vikings or my Green Bay Packers or whoever it is, the Lions are just taking care of business. The Lions lead the league in scoring at 32 points per game. They're 5th in scoring defense at 18.5. In the last 6 games, Detroit has more touchdowns at 28 than Jared Goff has incompletions at 24. I mean, this is historical levels of offense that we have not seen. And one thing that's flying under the radar is this defense. And, the big thing is, all right, let's view this from not calling anybody a casual here, but let's view it from a more, everyday football fan. think of the Detroit Lions defense. You're not thinking of Jack Campbell. You're not thinking of, Alex Anzalone, Carlton Davis, Terrion Arnold, Kirby Joseph. You're thinking of, oh, Aiden Hutchinson. And Aiden Hutchinson's injured for the rest of the season. So this is a nice move. Last season, Za'Darius only had technically 5.5 sacks, but sacks not the end-all be-all. He still had 20 total quarterback hits. His pressure amount was much higher. He's still a really solid defensive player at this age of 32. And I don't even know if Detroit's going to be done. Like right now, it's 10:23 in the morning here. I assume. I think it's 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time deadline. So we got like 5.5 hours until the deadline passes. But if Detroit does make a big time or another move, I don't expect it to be anything crazy. We kind of pushed off the Max Crosby and Myles Garrett rumors the last couple of weeks because I don't think those two teams wanted to trade those two players. And I also don't think Brad Holmes is forking over 3 first-round picks and whatever it would have taken to get a Max Crosby. So, looking at this defense here on paper, Josh Paschal, just because you got Za'Darius Smith doesn't mean, all right, here you go, here's the Super Bowl, right? Here's, a really solid edge. Aaron Glenn's going to have to scheme up some pressure still. Aleem McNeil's going to have to continue his good season. DJ Reader, Levi Onwuzurike has done a phenomenal job this season, like really a phenomenal job, actually. Josh Paschal, he's going to need to step it up. All these guys, James Houston, all these guys are going to need to step up and do their thing, even though Za'Darius is now on this team. But hopefully Z can, I think he fits this culture really well. I actually view him as more of like a really humble, chip on his shoulder, just kind of gets down, meat and potatoes, does the dirty work, and there's no diva, there's no drama attached with Za'Darius Smith or anything like that. So I think culture fit, it's really good. Dan Campbell's going to really like him. Aaron Glenn's going to really like him. The teammates are going to like him a lot. He has experience going against the Packers. He's got experience going against Minnesota. He's got experience in this NFC North from his, I think like 4 years combined with Green Bay and Minnesota. So really good trade. I would have to give it at least an A-. The only reason I'm not giving it an A+ is because it's not like a Max Crosby or Myles Garrett, but just as far as like straight up facts, going out there, getting a capable, competent Pro Bowl caliber edge rusher for what you gave up, a 2025 5th round pick, a 2026 6th rounder. You also got a 2026 7th rounder. I think the value was A+. A+ value, and I think you guys are going to really like Za'Darius. So that's it for me. I really did not catch my breath that whole video. Apologies. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. If you guys want more daily Lions videos, go check out that channel. Link down below. But guys, most importantly, give me a grade rating and anything else you want to say about the Za'Darius Smith trade. Hopefully, we'll see you soon with more big moves. Peace.